My name is Danielle Applestone, and I'm CEO of Daughters of Rosie, and I'm a mentor at the Hackaday Prize. I think the best way to communicate with your audience about what your product is to really understand first who that person is and to live their experience. Because you can speak to whatever your product is doing, and really you're speaking about the pain that you're relieving. Like every product, every service relieves a pain. And so if you really understand that pain of that person, and you can speak to that pain and be like, hey, I got you. I made this thing, which is going to alleviate whatever friction or everything it is. And just try to draw not only the intellectual about like specifications and all of that, but really draw the like human experience of what it feels like to have that pain be relieved. That's how you create compelling information about your product that really will make sure it gets to the right people and resonates with them. I think the foundation of building any team is understanding why you're all there and making sure that everybody on your team is there for a similar reason. That alignment is so important. It's really about people who are aligned on what the problem is and their passion for solving the problem, but they see it in a different way than you do, so that you can all come to this problem and have as many different ideas about the best way to solve it. I think that the thing that always makes a product stand out is that deep understanding of what's the problem they're solving and who has that problem, what do their lives look like. And the more you understand that, the better your product will be, then the better you'll be able to communicate that with whoever the judge is or whatever, because you will have a depth of understanding that some people don't really take the time to build. They're like very excited about the gadgetry and not as excited about the person who is going to be using that gadget. So the number one thing is about understanding that person and communicating it. And the other thing I would say is that good documentation is worth the time. It's good for a person in their development to remember what they have done, but also for people to be able to build on your work is really key. And that's one of the things that I look at as a judge is like, did they get this to a point where they can tie a bow around it and say like, here it is now, but now it's ready to go to the next stage. And like, I like to see people who are at that break point. That's what really makes a successful project to me. I like supporting the Hackaday Prize because I used to be that person, like tinkering around and building random things and just trying to see how to harness technology to do something, to make the world look a little bit different than it did before. And even though I'm pretty far removed from that now, I run a company that is in workforce development. It's like very different. I still really relate to building something from nothing and the creativity of that process, and also like the struggle of that process, because I do those things every day in my job, the iteration, the quick, like being open to things, leveraging all the resources that you possibly can, and trying to make the world look the way I want it to. And so it's my way of keeping in touch with that part of myself. And also, it's great to support others all the time. So this is just the way I can do that. I think the Hackaday Prize is a good opportunity for designers and engineers because sometimes it's helpful to have a little structure to the infinite. Like if you are going to build something, there's the whole world that's out there, all the different technologies, all the different timelines. How long is it going to take you? When does it need to be done? I don't know. You're following your own curiosity, so there's no deadline. And I think it's really helpful for people who are exploring a new area to have a way to mark time and also to have the support of their community. Like, it is not a thing that's easy to do on their own. And I think a lot of folks are kind of forging a path and exploring new things on their own. And so the community aspect, in addition to the timeline, I think are really important, and it's just structural, but provide so much benefit. I think the subjects that I'm the most skilled at and interested in talking to people about are actually
very fluffy things, like like who is this for? How do you find out who it's for? How do you find out how someone is going to use the product that you made? And so the defining the project, shaping the project, figuring out how to say no to stuff, I'm quite good at that. So if people come to me and they're like, I don't know, I kind of have all of these ideas and I need to make sense of them. That's the good time to engage with me, because I'm gonna be like, okay, let's drill down to like why you're really doing this, who you're doing it for, what's the problem you're solving, and let's say no to everything that's like not on your critical path, because you don't have enough time to do everything. So that's a good way to engage with me. And the other thing is around storytelling, like really distilling what is the unique value proposition of this object that you have made. And that's such an important thing, and I think there's probably a lot of other mentors that can be more helpful on like technical stuff, but I don't do that. I'm more about like, you got this technology, let's get it into the hands of people. And so the storytelling, the documentation, the communicating, I definitely love to work with people on that and talk through their ideas as much as they want to. I would say that from being a manager at an engineering organization, I do understand what the critical path is for development, and I can help people come up with their plan for how they are going to do development. When it comes to the very specifics of electronics, I'd probably refer them to the dozen people that I follow on Twitter that are very good at that kind of thing. But in terms of knowing what to do, what's most important, what's the order, how do I prioritize my work in order to get to a successful product at the finish line, that's the type of thing that I would do. It's kind of like I could be like an engineering manager for an hour to help someone just sort through the many different paths you could be on with a product.